planning your big step to becoming a full-time music artist. We talked about savings. Now let's talk about budgeting. And budgeting is one of those things that you got to pull out your calculator for. You got to pull out your old bills. You got to know what your electricity costs. You got to know what your cell phone costs. You got to know what all your bills are adding up to every month. You want to write it down? You can get an Excel spreadsheet. You can pull out a Google Doc, I think it's called Google spreadsheet or something. Pull out your calculator. Get to work. Add up your expenses. Know exactly how much is coming out of your account for needs, right? And then understand how much is coming out of your account every month for wants. Things you don't really need, you just want. You want to budget. It's called budgeting. Math is just probably one of the only good subjects in school that you really could use in life, because this is going to help you with your finances. You can't have your account bleeding money. You can't be spending more than you're making. So the way to do that is to understand what your bills are. Understand how much you're spending here, spending there, what your water is, and then see how you can cut back. You can probably call a lot of these companies and they'll actually talk to you and explain to you how you can cut back on your bill, how you can save. And then you take that amount and you subtract it from how much you make every month, right? And you'll see how much you have left, your profit, your net, how much you have at the end of every month. And since you're trying to plan for taking that big step, you have to understand how much money you need to live. How much money do you need per month to live? So if you need, for example, $5,000 every month just to live, and say you quit your job, say quitting your job is something you want to do, you got to be able to supplement that income, right? So you can have a cushion, a year's worth of income, a year's worth of living expenses where you can pull money from that and continue to live as you work on your career to build your career income up, your music career income up, which is something that I did. I actually set aside money for years and years and years to a point where I think my living expenses at the time were like $2,000 a month or $2,500 a month. I knew I needed $2,500 times 12 to live for a year without needing any kind of job. So I'll take that 2,500 multiplied by 12, however much that came to, 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. So that's how much I had saved up, so that when I did start to put hours toward my music, instead of putting those same hours toward work, the more hours I put toward music, the more I can see my income in music go up. To give you a practical example as a rapper or a singer, if one of the quickest things you can do to increase the income that you're making out of your music is gigging, right? Now again, this is after you've immersed yourself in music. We've gone over this before in the other videos. Immerse yourself first, know your environment, you got to practice. That's after all this. That's after all of that, right? Now you're trying to get gigs. If you're working all the time, you're not going to be able to get a lot of gigs. If you're working like 5 nights out of the week, then you only got 2 nights you can gig. Once you stop working, now you can gig 7 nights out of that week, right? So automatically, theoretically, that's going to double, triple your music income, okay? So you quit putting time toward one area of your life that you don't really love. You quit putting energy and time there, and now you're putting energy and time here to something that you really love. And you're going to start growing your income in that place. So this is all part of budgeting, knowing your numbers. And there's a lot of different little intricacies in this. This is something that I talk about a lot when I'm consulting someone personally in their situation, because there's a lot of variables involved, but it's really easy to work out once we have everything written down, right? And itemized, have everything written down. So you'll have an exact budgeting plan for when you do decide to take that big step, and now you're off to the races. So here's the third little sub part of planning, and that is called, if you play Xbox, if you play sports, you're talking to the coach, just lay it out. Start with think innovation. Write down that's called strategy.